Hello there guys, Mark here. I hope you are well. In today's video, we're going to take a look at grommets and how to set them. So first off, what is a grommet? Basically, a grommet is a way of protecting the edges of a hole made into leather, fabric or any other material. The grommet basically adds a protective layer around the edges of the hole. This is especially important if you're going to pass things like lace or string through the hole. The grommet is usually a two-piece item. You have the eyelet part, this one. This is the main part of the grommet, and then we have the washer part, which is basically a thin ring of metal. This one is used to reinforce the eyelet on the other side of the grommet. At this point, it makes sense to address the difference between a grommet and an eyelet. A grommet, as I have mentioned before, is a two-piece item. It is a more heavy-duty version designed for thicker materials. An eyelet is just that. One piece, an eyelet. It is usually used on thinner materials where you don't need a heavy-duty grommet. The difference between the two is also in the tools that you use to set them. Let's take a look at the differences between the tools used to set a grommet and an eyelet. For setting a grommet, you have an anvil like this. You have a driver with a hole which you can later on place onto the anvil. For the eyelet, you have an anvil like this and a driver like this. Besides the anvil and driver, you can also use a pair of pliers for setting grommets, which are found in hardware stores. Alternatively, you can also use a heavy-duty press for pressing down onto the grommets when you're setting them. A press is the absolute best option, but it is usually too expensive for the casual user. So usually we rely on the anvil and driver or a pair of pliers to set our grommets. The easiest way to get into setting grommets is to get a kit such as this one. Basically, you get a bunch of grommets, you get an anvil, you get a driver, and you even get a punch for punching the exact size of holes that you need for your grommets. So this is a good starting kit. Naturally, you can buy these items individually or you can use other substitutes for them. I'm going to start setting my grommets by first making a hole into my leather. To do this, I'm going to be using a punch and a hammer. The hammer should not be a metal one, since metal hammers have a tendency of damaging your tools. Alternatively, you can also use a revolving punch, which is very versatile and can be found in various hardware stores. Or you could drill in a hole into your leather using a drill. We're now going to check if the hole is of a proper size for our grommet. So we place our eyelet through the hole, and we want to see a very snug fit, so the eyelet does not move around too much. We're going to take the washer and place it on top of the eyelet. We want to see the eyelet protruding through the washer, and we need this top part to be able to hammer it in over the washer to hold everything together. Now, in some cases, your leather is going to be too thick. In those cases, you're going to take a paring knife or a splitter and thin down your leather. When you're using an anvil, it is very important that you set it on a very hard surface. I'm using a granite slab for this purpose. So we have our anvil, we place our eyelet on top of it, then our leather, and our washer. We take our driver and we simply hammer on the washer onto the eyelet. I'm trying to move around my driver around and around when I hammer it down to get me as secure of a grommet as possible. And there you have it, a simple grommet ready to be used. And with this we took a look at the grommet, a super useful and decorative way of reinforcing holes in fabric, leather, or other materials. Guys, thank you very much for joining me today, and I hope to see you in my future tutorials as well.